I've been with them for like 5 days, and so far it's fantastic. I've got a couple of certs. I'm very bad at doing super badges. I've got like a million I have to do, and I'm hoping to do my CTA board exam in May. Fingers crossed. And you guys can reach me on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and anywhere. Okay. We also have Susanna on the call. She's not officially presenting, but she's my tag team buddy. So, Susanna, you want to just say hello to everyone, introduce yourself?
Definitely. So, hi, my name is Susanna St. Germain. I am another co-lead of Ladies Be Architects, and I am based out of Boston, Massachusetts. I am with a customer of Salesforce's called Boston Scientific. We're a medical device company, and I am a technical architect on the Boston Scientific team. I just finished, well, I guess at the end of December, so December 2018, I finished my system architect cert, so I have both sides of the pyramid, and I am targeting for the review boards for the end of 2019, the end of this calendar year is my current goal.
Thank you very much.
You can follow me on Twitter, do all that good stuff, and yeah, I'll take it away, Charly.
Thank you. So we want to give a shout out to our champions. So round of applause, everyone, to our champions who achieved their certifications in February. And I think there's a few from March here. So we have 5.
Could you advance the slide? Sorry to interrupt, Charly. I think the slide is still on the first one. We could advance it to the champions. See their beautiful faces.
Maybe there's a lag because I am on the champion slide.
Oh, maybe it's just me. Can other folks see the? Okay.
No, we can see it. I see the main slide.
Yeah, it just changed.
Okay. So when I'm in presentation mode, it doesn't seem to want to advance. I'm having really bad technical issues today with everything. So I'll just do this the manual way. How's that? That should be big enough. Can everybody see? I'm not going to go into presentation mode because then it's going to stop again. Is that good?
Looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our champions, we have 5 application architects. Can we do the round of applause, please? Physically clap, everybody. Yay! We have Bhavana, Kothi, Alison, Nupur, and Lynn. And 2 system architects, Maria and Lynn. Some of these girls have been very busy. Then we have platform dev, and I believe Blanca got her platform dev in the last couple of days, so she's not on here yet, but she needs to be. We've got Jolene White, Catherine Booth, Alison Park, and Lynn. And then for sharing and visibility, we've got Bhavana, Alison, Sarah, and Pratibha. Round of applause for them too. And
Blanca's on.
Again?
Blanca joined.
Oh, Blanca. Blanca, you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations on your platform debut.
Thank you. And Jennifer Colbert just got hers today. So
yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you for all the support, ladies. It's been incredible. We really appreciate all the support from you guys.
Well, we're very proud of you. Very, very proud. You worked very hard.
Yeah.
Everybody who got their certs, it's amazing.
I think we're still lagging a slide behind.
Which one are you seeing?
Champions. We're still seeing the architect slide.
Oh, no. Susanna, I sent the deck to you.
Yes, let me go ahead and let me get sharing. Yeah.
Okay, let me stop sharing. I think Texas's internet is going down. Because nothing works.
Of course, right? That's always the case, right? When we need it to work. Okay, let me go ahead and get sharing. Pull up my email. So for my internet seems to be working, so that's good news. Okay, share present now. Your entire screen. I'll do this one. Can you see my screen?
can see Google.
Google, new
Yeah.
tab.
Good. Good. See my email. Let's see. Pretty quickly. Okay. Slides moving?
Yes.
Wow, yeah, there
Awesome.
we go.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So we're on platform dev.
Yes. Well, Susanna, just you can finish off the champions and the intros until we get to the stuff.
Sounds good. Yes. So we're just celebrating Blanca platform dev cert earners, also for sharing and visibility. Bhavana, Allison, Sarah Parisi, and Rat. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong.
Pratiba.
So congratulations, Pratiba. Congratulations, ladies. And whew, we were busy in February. Development lifecycle and deployment designer, that's a good one. Maria, Bonnie, congratulations, Bonnie. Wow, Crystal. And then for our data architecture and management designer, I think that's one of the hardest ones. Kotai, Sarah, and Newport, again, she's been very, very busy, it looks like. And then moving on, one person who was ahead of the curve, Sammy, got her community cloud consultant certification, so she could probably be teaching this webinar today, but that's a great accomplishment of Sammy's. I know she's been very, very busy with LBA, so it's there. And moving on into the content of today, we're focusing on the community cloud consultant. It's one of those optional bottom of the pyramid, but it's definitely important content to learn, especially if you have your eye on the CTA, because community cloud comes up a lot. So I will go ahead and pass it back over to Charlie for the agenda, but I'll probably be chiming in here and then there throughout the webinar. So thanks. Go ahead, take it, Charlie.
Yes, thank you very much. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I laggy like a robot, or
No, we
am I
can hear
okay?
you clearly.
Okay, good. All right, tell me when you can't, and then I'll re-say it. So an hour or 40 minutes is not enough to go through Community Cloud. It takes forever. So we voted and we decided to talk about some of the Community Cloud building blocks. So there are 3 specific ones I want to talk to you about today. It's Community Builder, Community Workspaces, and the Lightning Bolt solutions. Now, Community Builder is where you actually work with your template, you create, brand, and publish your community. Where in the Community Workspace is where you access the builder, but we'll dive into each one of these in depth. And then Lightning Bolt solutions, I don't want to talk about them too much. It is very interesting, but it's not covered in the actual exam as it is today, but it is important to understand the Lightning Bolt solutions. All right, let me just, there's definitely something weird going on with my computer. Give me a sec. I just want to open the slides on my side so I can just see the next slide so I can talk intelligently. Okay, so Susanna, we can go to the next slide. The first one I want to talk about is, and this is just making sense of the blocks, right? So you actually access the Community Builder inside of the Community Workspace. It's important to know when you work with communities where you access which ones. There's a lot of questions on the exams too about where would you do this and in which tool would you do this. So to me, the lights went on when I understood that Community Builder is one of the tools that you use within the Community Workspace, as well as tools like administration tools, the dashboards, and other features. And you manage all of that inside one of your Community Workspaces. And then Lightning Bolt is a solution that you built where you use the community templates that you've built and customized in your workspace, plus other things like custom apps and flows, and you package it together as a solution and you can reuse it. And that's the beauty about Lightning Bolt. It's reusable packages that you can, including community templates, that you can use again for another project, or you want to sell it on the App Exchange, or give it to another division in your company. So it's very exciting to be able to package that finally. So moving on to slide 10. If we look at the community workspace, so we know we can do a lot of stuff in there. The one we're going to focus on is the builder, but you can also do moderation. So from the home tab in the moderation section, you can view your community's homepage dashboard and reports for people that have flagged posts, people that have made comments, messages, files. You can create rules where you can moderate the content through those rules with criteria for your community. The third portion is content targeting. That is where topics and recommendations, and that's my dogs saying hi. Where topics and recommendations from the content targeting workspace where you work with them. This is where you can create navigation menus and showcase popular topics in your community from the topics tab. The next one is the dashboards. From the dashboards one, you would see your dashboards and reports for your community. The administrator needs to set them up, and that will display in the reporting tab. The next one is the CMS Connect, and this is where you connect your content management system to your community. This is pretty new functionality, but it's very, very powerful. This is where you can render headers, banners, JavaScript, and other content management content on your community pages. Think about WordPress or any of these other places where you store all of this content. Now you can surface it directly into your community. In the administration section, you can update the basic setup of your community. That's where you spend quite a bit of time when you start working with your community and setting it up. That's you configure your preferences, your community membership, who can access the community. And this is where you do your baseline branding properties. Reputation levels and points to reward members is one of the other things that you manage in the administration section. And then, as we know, Salesforce loves to do it and we love using it. They've given us a guided setup as well, where it'll take you step by step through each one of these components as part of the community workspace with easy to follow directions to set up your community.
Hey, Charly.
Charly?
I'm so
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but it looks like there's 3 of us in the chat who cannot see the screen. We just see a black screen. Should we come out and come
Okay,
in?
let me.
Yeah, it's been black for me for a few minutes too.
Okay, so that makes
Okay, let me see what's happening. Let's try and do this again. How about now?
I can see your screen now.
Yeah, I can see
Yes,
it now.
better.
Okay.
Oh, so I've been just talking and you can't visualize my pretty blocks. They're actually very ugly, but
Okay, I'm going to stay out of the presentation mode too, just because it looks like we're having, for whatever reason, having issues. But I can see the chat now. Continue to, speak up if you can't see stuff, and we'll address it.
okay, so the slide we're looking at now, slide 10, is what I was just describing. It's the community workspace, and inside of the workspace, you access Builder and the other 6 main sections. So administration, moderation, content, dashboards, what else? CMS, and guided setup. But the one where we're going to be focusing on today is just Builder and how to use it to set up your community. Yes, you can go to slide 11, please. There's something important about the workspace, and a couple of things that you need to remember is you need to go and enable workspaces first under the community settings. Don't do what Charly does and phone support and say, my community is broken and I can't access it, and then I didn't enable it. Community workspaces, however, they are enabled for all communities created after Spring 17. So once you've enabled communities, then the community workspace will automatically be enabled. So when you have enabled communities in the community settings and you go to your workspace, the options you see, and this is important to remember, the options you see is based on the template you selected and the preferences when you first created your community. So some of the options might not be in the list when you go and look in the workspace, but it's easily fixable. All you have to do is go to the administration portion, and there's a setting that says show all settings in community workspaces. So remember that. I found a few times that my homepage sometimes still displays a message that says install Salesforce Community Management Package. All that means is you don't have to, it's one of those lovely Salesforce errors that doesn't tell you what's really wrong. And it just means your administrator hasn't mapped a dashboard yet in the setup. So you just need to go do that. If you remove yourself from a community and you're the administrator and you're the only administrator, you won't be able to get to the admin settings. The only way to get yourself back is to use the API. And you can, through the API, you can manage your own user as well as other users. So those are just a few gotchas that I've seen over time. Any questions? Will you guys stop me when you have questions? Okay. So moving on, that was all about community workspace. That's where you get the main menu. Inside the workspace, you are going to work with your community builder. There are four main things that you can manage in your community builder. That's where you style your community. It's all about the branding. That's where you can edit your pages and the components. And that's where you preview your community and then ultimately publish your community. On slide 13, using your community builder to style it and to edit it, to publish it, there are 6 really important things that I need to know. I went through all the documentation. I thought, what am I going to tell you in 40 minutes? And I cross-checked it with the exam guide, and the 6 main things about community builder that stood out for me, that's really important for you to understand, are navigation, public access, themes, custom pages, audience targeting, and lightning components. But there's a lot more as well. So don't just learn these 6 things and go write the exam. These are, in my opinion, just the ones that are really important. So first, let's have a look at navigation. Slide 14. So this is straight from the Salesforce help documentation. They've really got some good info on the communities, and it's really usable, and it tells you, gives you a lot of the information. There's a lot of blogs out there as well. But for me, it made a lot of sense when I started learning about the community builder and where do I access what. So number 1 is the components panel. If you open that, you'll see all the lightning components that are available to use in your community, as well as a link to the App Exchange. So you can go and get more lightning components that somebody else built. Number 2 is the theme. And we'll talk about the theme in more detail because it's important to understand what is a theme and what it does. Number 3 is where you view all the current components. So if you want to see the components that's already installed in your community, that'll be under number 3. Number 4 are the main community settings. That's your administration and users and whether it's public and your audience. Those things are all under settings. Number 5 up in the corner is your main communities menu. Number 6 is the page and page variation menu. Oh, there's a U missing there. It's not men, it's menu. Number 7 is to refresh the page. You'll see you'll use that quite a bit, especially if you're dragging new components in and you're making changes to the attributes of the pages. Just hit refresh and it will show you what your changes affected. Number 8, the numbers seem a bit disaligned, but number 8 is under the little computer screen, and that's how you toggle your community between device look and feel. So whether it's what it looks like on a desktop or a mobile phone. Number 9 is preview, and then number 10 is the very important publish button. So when you're learning this, go into your community builder and go make sure you remember where each one of these things are. And it's really important to know where they are because first of all, that's how you use it. But second of all, it's also really asked in the exam a lot.
And it's very, I'll just add, like, the questions in some exams, they just want you to know, like, oh, is this in community builder versus like a different section? But they get on this particular exam, like, they want to know, like, the click path. So it is something to study a little extra.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's navigation. That was the first block. Is there another question? I thought I heard something. Susanna, will you monitor the chat?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. So the second thing we want to talk about is public access, slide 15. So we often, when we as architects have to design our solutions, and Susanna said this is an optional exam, but every single solution as an architect always have some kind of community in it. And you sometimes, or most of the times, it's either a customer community or a partner community, but there's often some kind of public access involved. So it's really important to understand how you give up public access to your community, and if you give it to the whole community or just some of the pages and just some of the components on some of the pages. So there's two main ways to grant the public access to your community. The first way, and that is like almost like an org-wide default, is the community default setting. And that's under your settings in the community builder, under general, there is a setting called public access. And if you toggle that switch, you actually make the whole community public. The second way is through page access. So I don't know if you can clearly see on the screenshot, but I'm there in the page menu and I'm on a specific page, and then there's an attribute where I can select whether the page is publicly accessible. So those are the two main ways. But when you're designing your community and when you're thinking about how it works, there's a nice two flows that I want you to really learn and get used to, and that's on slide 16. So if you've created a standard page in your community, you have to ask yourself the question, what is my community default visibility setting? That setting that we did under administration, like the org-wide default for communities, is it public? Then go down. If it's not public, it means that the standard page would require a login and it will redirect them to the login page. If the setting is public, then what is that page access? Is that public or does it require a login? And if it is public, then are there any page variations? Page variations, we'll talk about it when we talk about the audiences, is you can take one page and create a variation from it. So if I'm in Europe, say I'm in France, and the community, when I can see from my IP I'm in France, I can have a variation of the homepage to show that page in French, as opposed to an English page when my IP is from England or from the US. But we'll dig into that into more detail. It's just the logic is if there is a page variation, see if that variation, if the profile and the variation allows me to see that page. If there aren't any page variations, then you can access the page. Pretty much the same flow happens for object pages, but it takes into account Salesforce CRUD settings. So the first one is, do you have access to that object? Can you see it? Can you read it? No, you'll get an error. Yes, then it goes through the rest of the flow is, what's the community visibility setting? Is it public? Okay, what's the page access? Is it public? Does it have a variation? No, show it to them. If yes, don't show it to them. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope so. Don't nod your head. Okay, good. All right, so this is important. I would I make these little stupid laminated cards for myself and put them in my backpack. Now, these two I would make laminated little cards from, because when you're designing a community, put them on the table, look at them, learn this, so that you make sure you give the right access. Okay, so I promised we'll talk about themes. Let's talk about themes. Now, themes and templates, what's the difference? What is a theme and what is a template? So when you first create your community, you've enabled it, and then you go new and you give it a URL, it's going to ask you to choose a template. So Susanna, can I ask you to click on that template link?
Yes.
I wasn't going to just copy all Salesforce's information into the slide because it's really beautifully laid out.
Let's see, it's not letting me open it up. Maybe we can just open it in the browser.
Yeah. Just copy the hyperlink.
Okay, let's see.
I think you have to copy the hyperlink. So you've got to go down on the right click and then hyperlink and then open hyperlink.
Here we go. It's saying cannot locate the internet server or proxy. Can I do that?
Well, I just saw on
see if I can
Twitter
view it.
before the call that there's some of the Salesforce docs are offline too.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the world's internet is going down.
I know. Okay, I have the link now, so let me just make sure it's nothing with literally copying and pasting the link. Let's look. Okay.
So what this page is supposed to show us is the different community templates. There we go. So Susanna, if you scroll down a bit, it'll show you that we have customer service templates. We have the customer account portal template. And what this basically do is the framework for your whole community. Different pieces of functionality based on the template that you've chosen. So the customer account one would be different to the partner account one. So that gives you the building blocks for your actual community and what functionality is inside there. Then the theme.
Next one.
The theme is all about branding. It's all about the look and the feel, the visual experience of your community. So your community is going to have a template, and then it will have a theme on top of it. And there's a lot of overlap between the two because the template also has a look and a feel. But that you would update using your theme.
It's the same link.
The what? I can't see your browser anymore.
Hold on.
Yes, we can put the links in the chat. I think that's a good idea.
Sure.
Okay, so let's move on. So just go back one again. Let's just finish talking about themes. Okay, so yes, it's all about the layout and the style. And in a theme, you can do a couple of things. You can add or change the theme, or you can create branding sets. So you could have one set of branding for my French page, and I could use one set of branding for my American pages. And I can also customize the theme. I'm not locked in with the theme that Salesforce gives me. I can change the CSS. I can change the colors. I can change pretty much everything on the theme if I'm so inclined. Any questions on themes? I think Susanna's just posted the links for you.
I'm going to get the theme one, just grabbing it now.
Okay. Okay, there's the links. And we'll make sure we'll send it out to the group afterwards as well. So next, we want to talk about custom pages. So that's one of the 6 important things we can do in the community builder. When you go to your pages menu, you would say new page, and it really nicely tells you what page do you like to create. Do you want to create a standard page, or do you want to create an object page? So a standard page is based on a layout, and you can add any combination of components. Think of Lightning. All of this is based on Lightning, is built on Lightning. So it's all the same functionality we have on our internal Lightning pages. And then if you choose an object page, it is, object page, it's a record detail or a list or related list pages, and it's linked to an object. So a standard page is usually based on a blank layout or on a pre-configured page if you've pre-configured pages previously. If you haven't, then you'll choose a blank one. The object page, we just talked about the object pages. So you would choose object page, and then I'll say to you, which object do you want to link it to? So then you'll choose account or contact or whatever you want to. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, but it is really, I like the fact that it is very similar to working with Lightning pages in our internal orgs, which means it's the same functionality. It's easy to use. All right, let's talk about audience targeting. Now, we just kind of quickly talked about audience targeting, but now say that your company offers a product, and we're calling that product a different name depending on the region. Let's say we're selling soda. In the South, they call it soda. In, I don't know, everybody calls it different things. Like one region calls it pop and the other calls it carbonated drinks. You guys will be able to tell me better about all the different words for soda. But say you want to be that instead of building different communities, the one we talk about pop, the other one we talk about soda, we can now just create variations. So we can target the information, the content that we give specifically to the audience. And we can either choose the criteria to be on profile, their location, so we can use IPs, the domain that they actually came in on, the user object that they're accessing, the record type, and the permissions they have. So these are all the main criteria we can use to set up our audience targeting. Yes, so that's the whole list. So when you start designing your community, you need to start thinking about how, because it's not a lot of work, it's not a lot of effort to provide this functionality, where previously you'd have to create a whole new community with all the schlep that goes with that. Now you can just create regional or geographical or product different variants of your pages to speak to your correct audience directly. I think it's pretty cool. I've never built it, but I'd love to. Has anybody used audience targeting in communities before in real life? I think
yeah. So we have based on the location. So we have a product, so a medical device product community, and we have it for all of Europe in one community. So based on if someone's location is in France or Germany, like they have a different subset of things that they need to see and a different language that they need to see it in as well. So that's come in handy for our multi-geography sort of use cases.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so powerful, right? You don't have to rebuild everything.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Blanca, you were saying hopefully soon. So you'll be...
It's on one of our projects for this year.
Wonderful. Good. Then you can come show us afterwards. We'll sign non-disclosures and whatever you need us to. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is Lightning components in your community builder. So what you're seeing here is kind of a sample community with the headline component. See number one? That's a normal headline component on the homepage with the list of supported Lightning components. So when I click on that component, the welcome component, and I then go to my component menu, it shows me all the components that is supported for this welcome component, for the headline component. And it shows me all the properties as well in number 3. So number 3, it shows me the details about the headline, and number 2 shows me the components available to use in that headline component. From number 3, there's also a drop-down menu where I can do quick actions like duplicate, delete, or assign an audience to the component to control its visibility. So a lot of handy tools to work with, first of all, my embedded component, and also the ability to add additional components onto my page. So it's very easy to work with. You can browse the selection of the Lightning components that you've got. So it'll be some standard components included in Salesforce, as well as any custom components that you've built. But then you can also choose some from the App Exchange. You'll see in the number 2 list at the bottom, get more on the App Exchange. And you can add them directly from the App Exchange, directly in the Community Builder to your org. Let me just see what else we have. So yeah, that's about the main things you need to know about the Lightning component, and just understand how the menus will change based on the component that you're adding. So it's all interactive. So those are the 6 main things that you need to focus on when you work with Community Builder. It is the navigation, the public access, the themes, the custom pages, the audience targeting, and the components. And these are the standard and custom Lightning components that you can use in your Community Builder. Slide 21, questions. Any questions? No questions from anybody? It's pretty straightforward stuff. As I said in the beginning, it's only a fraction of the information available that you need to study and need to know as an architect. It mainly focuses on the community workspace, where you access the Community Builder, and the Builder is where you manage your actual community through themes and administration and security. That's all I have today. I think I went really quickly through it. So nobody have any questions?
I have one maybe comment around, so all of the things today that we saw on the Community Builder, there is a way to deploy changes that you've made, like when you drag and drop these components and, you know, customize all your pages. There is a way to deploy a community. There's certain pieces of a community that you do in like the other sections, like the administration and things that you have to do after you deploy it. But the 2 pieces of metadata that you need to deploy a community are called a network. So you'll see that whenever you create a community and type in the name, it creates 2 things, essentially a network, and then also a piece of metadata called the site.com, and it's written out like SITEDOTCOM, site.com. And if you have those 2 pieces of metadata, you can deploy all of those like customizations that you're making in Community Builder from one environment to another. Something that if you're working with a project and having trouble deploying, that's the key, those 2 pieces of metadata.
That's very, very handy to know. I didn't know about the site.com. I knew about the network. I didn't know about the site.com. Thanks, Susanna.
Sure.
So there's a couple of resources. I did create a trial mix. There's a couple of Dreamforce sessions. The content is really starting to come together for Community Cloud. I think about a year ago, there weren't much out there. Of course, you have to read the exam guide. So we'll post this on the ARC Ladies website and put the links in Twitter for you guys to be able to access all of this, as well as the recording of the session. And then Susanna and myself are going to Snowforce in like 6 days from now.
Yes.
Next week. And we would love to come see you. I'd love for you to come see us. If you're somewhere close to Salt Lake City in Utah, come spend the day with us. Come ski with us on Friday. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be skiing. I might just be drinking. But
Hanging out in the lodge.
yeah, I think hanging out at the lodge would be great. And of course, we really value each and every one of you. For those of you that are your first study group with us, we want you to join our Trailblazer community group. Come visit us on our website. Talk to us about the exams you're taking. Take us on your journey with you, and tweet, mention us, and become more involved. Run a study group for us. Tell us your story. Meet us at the community conferences, or come chat to us on our podcast. So please reach out to myself or Susanna, of course, Gemma in the UK, if you're on that side of the world. We'd love to have you part of the community. And for those of you that are so very, very much active in the community and is what's making Ladies Be Architects great, we love you and thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Jen. Bye.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop presenting. And stop recording.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do we do that? Stop recording. Okay.